Alright, I'm gonna make a quick video about my fuel system. I get asked all the time how I did it, so this will be easy to share, give people kind of something to look back on if they want to either copy or learn from what I've done and come up with their own way, whatever. But we'll start on the electrical. So, this is where the fuel pumps pull power. It's kind of hard to see, but I have a big fat welding wire. It's this guy right here that just goes directly to the battery, and then it goes to this bus bar that is charged with 12 volts. I have a couple other things being powered off of that, but it's better than just stacking a ton of crap on a post there. Easier to get to, cleaner looking, better distribution of power. So 12 volts starts there. I have resettable circuit breakers, one for each pump. I believe these are, I forget what their rating is. It's right above what the fuel pump runs at. So if it has a problem, each one will shut off individually. And obviously I haven't had any problems, so everything is good. And then it goes up to the relays. These are 70 amp relays, one for each pump. And the power wire, which is the same size as all this, just goes forward and directly into the fuel pump. Boom, direct power. That wire is much fatter than the stock stuff, which is more like this right here. And then the ground, simple, single point ground right there. You want the ground as short as possible. So power wire, boom, ground. And the way I trigger these relays is these are the factory fuel pump wires. And as you can see, I've gone to gray and red, and those go back through this loom. And if you look in here, these are the triggers for the relays. So when I put the key in the car, everything triggers on exactly like factory, except for the actual power is going through the big fat voltage happy wires. Boom, done. There's the electrical. So when it comes to the fuel side, I have the dual 450s in here. I have those Black Forest Industries or whatever the heck they're called, little 90s that go on the top of the Walbro fuel pumps. And then I have Racetronics corrugated fuel line in tank, E85 safe, obviously, that goes across the tank. And I'm not going to take this side apart and show you. But when it comes over here, I have another driver's side hat, stock plastic hat, that I put two bulkheads into and have, the dash 8 feed and the dash 6 return coming out in the same position as the factory fuel lines. I didn't want to run fuel lines above, this bench or inside the car. I wanted everything to basically be as close to factory routing as I could. One notable mention about this side is the fuel level sender. I had to get a little creative with that, and that's this wiring harness. But it was pretty easy to get it to work, get it to sit in the right spot, functions totally stock. So it'll make a little more sense when I get under here. So right there, those braided lines, those are the feed and the return. And these come down in the factory location. So due to safety and just wanting to be, fancy, I went to stainless steel lines underneath the car. I didn't want nothing to get pinched in any sort of weird situation. This is also a Fuel Lab, the finest micron filter they have. It's washable, so I don't even have to replace it. I just take it out and clean it, which I'll do here soon before next season. Easy access, obviously, right there. And fits decent. So yeah, stainless lines all down the car.
And then once it gets a little bit closer to the headers there, I, just wrapped it with heat wrap. The fuel is going to be cool enough going through it, so it's not a big deal. But once it's there, it goes up the firewall, kind of right behind my intercooler here. Then I get it to pop through the firewall. And this is where it gets a little different too. So this is a pulse width dampener. And I'm not going to explain what that does, but there's one on the factory rail. And since I have completely changed the fuel rail, I deleted that part. So I added my own back here behind the fuel rail. And this is where it splits to each rail. It's kind of hard to see. It'll make more sense right here. So coming out of this block here, it is now split to 6AN. And it's kind of hard to tell, but one goes to this side and the other goes to that side. And that is each fuel rail. Not really going to be able to see. Oh, yeah, there you go. So I've welded on -6 bungs on each end of each fuel rail. And on this side, I just run -6 underneath the supercharger. And the other side just comes straight out of that end of the fuel rail, and they meet right here and go back into a single -1 to where my fuel pressure regulator is. So I control the fuel pressure with this thing, obviously very normal, nothing unique here, very standard. And after that, I just get the fuel to run back down and back and into the tank, and that is it. So with that said, the amount of money and the amount of time that has gone into this is a lot more than you might think. Parts alone, going to the stainless steel and all of that type of stuff, it adds up quick. The fittings, they are expensive. To me, I like the way I did it. It's clean, it's safe, it works fucking awesome. So when I was on E85 with the stock fuel system, meaning non-return, all the stock lines, stock fuel rail, stock feed position, stock all of it, other than fuel pump and injectors. At 650 wheel horsepower, I was getting a drop from 85 PSI at the start of the pull to about 60 to high 50s. So over 30 pounds of drop during a pull to the red line. So since I've done this, different style fuel system, I get a 5 PSI drop across the board. So if I set it at 80, which is where I got it, it drops to 76. So way more volume, way more feed, everything's way happier. It's going to support way more power, especially when I put a turbo on this thing and have a rising rate fuel pressure regulator set up. It's going to absolutely rip and will make, probably, I don't know about the pumps, but the fuel lines and everything will support 1,000 horsepower now. So that's all good. But yeah, so that's it. Everyone, kind of take a look if you want. There it is. Good luck.